Hey, this is Greg from Mighty Studios. Welcome back to the Making Stuff series. This is part 3 of my struggle to bring my old Commodore 64
back from the dead.
In this episode, we're doing some mad science. I'm going to try a new Retrobrite technique by Moonlight. Okay, not Moonlight, but definitely without the sun. Retrobrite is a technique that uses concentrated hydrogen peroxide and UV light to restore aged yellow plastics, closer to their original color. The UV light is typically supplied by a high-powered UV lamp, which I'm way too cheap to buy, or using a bright sunny day, which those of us here in Seattle have only read about in books. So what I need is a Retrobrite technique that doesn't rely on UV light, and that's what we're here to try. Here's a quick primer on Retrobrite. Keep in mind, I am not a chemist. I'm just a curious idiot with some spare time. You have been warned. From what I understand, the hydrogen peroxide decomposes under UV light into water and oxygen, and it's that oxygen that serves as the bleaching agent. It also turns out it breaks down the same way when heated. So all we need is a source of hydrogen peroxide and some heat. The heat part is easy. I'm using hot water with an aquarium heater set on high. Just the hottest I could get it from the tap, nothing scalding. I'm also using a small pump to keep the water moving. For peroxide, I'm using sodium percarbonate. I buy this stuff by the pound on Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description. Sodium percarbonate is the active ingredient in most oxy-cleaners and laundry detergents, minus the soap. I have it on hand because it's also useful for cleaning algae in koi ponds, which is another hobby of mine. What I like about it is that it's relatively cheap, easy to store, and environmentally safe. Sodium percarbonate is a man-made powder consisting of sodium, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. When mixed with water, it breaks down into a bunch of benign soda ash and a whole lot of...
wait for it,
hydrogen peroxide. See where I'm going with this? In fact, you can make pretty concentrated peroxide solutions and pastes with this stuff. So we're going to take about 2 pounds of this stuff and mix it into somewhere between 10 and 15 gallons of hot water. Now, that recipe is something I completely made up because that's the size of the container I have and the amount of sodium percarbonate I have. That tells you a little bit about how scientific we're being about this process. So all that remains is to load in each piece one at a time, make sure that they all get in there. Then we top it off to make sure that everything stays submerged, and then let it sit. We'll check it in about 24 hours and see what we get. But we're already seeing oxygen bubbles forming, which is a great sign that everything is working the way we expect. The end result is not bad, but far from perfect. I think if I'd taken greater care in mixing the sodium percarbonate in the water, I might have gotten better results. The disk drive is now a better color match for the C64 case, but it came out in kind of a marbled pattern. I think if I'd have taken greater care in mixing the sodium percarbonate in the water to make sure there was a good, even distribution, I could have avoided some of that splotchiness. But overall, a big improvement from the original tobacco color. Well, that's one more step done on the road to recovery, but the C64 isn't finished yet. I've still got a couple of broken keyboard keys I've got to fix before this project will really feel done. But if you've enjoyed this video series, I would love it if you would like and subscribe and comment and do all that fun stuff, and I will see you on the next Making Stuff with Mighty Studios.